Oops, I'm live. We're live.
Stay live. Stay live. Oh, Meg.
I'm holding the camera. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Goodness gracious. Let's just double check. Is Rythmia live? Is Rythmia live?
You just saw me pop on in.
Rythmia's live. We are having an amazing day here.
We really are.
Welcome, friends. Can we fix that in editing? Is there a post-production?
And if you see us jumping, it's only because there's possibly a mommy scorpion with 300 babies on her back at the
Okay, so we are a little bit late, you guys. We apologize, but we are live. This is great. I'm going to call this up.
You just saw me pop on in.
Audio is good. I can hear us. Okay, so we just had a little bit of a moment with some wild beasts of Costa Rica in here. We arrived in here, and this is Piper, and Piper saw, oh, look at that cute little bug down there. And I was like, that's a baby scorpion. Not cute, deadly.
Oh my gosh.
Not deadly.
So, under the table, I'm holding my feet.
She's holding her feet up. She's doing some yoga here.
Yeah.
So, welcome, you guys. It's been a beautiful, exciting, and fun week. And the fun doesn't stop. Piper and I are here having a great time, connecting and chatting, so we were a little bit late. So, apologies for that. And I am Meg. Do not adjust your screens. This is not Lindsay. It is Meg. Hi, Zinlin. Saying hello from Canada, the ice cold Canada.
Oh, hi, Canada.
It's so fun. I'm heading there tomorrow. I'm very excited to head there with the baby. But today we are talking about Piper's Miracle. She's been here with us since last Sunday, rounding out 2019 with a full house this week. We had an amazing group. Graham Hancock was here as our speaker.
Unbelievable.
Powerful medicine week. Hi, Tati. So we're going to talk about Piper's experience. And I had the pleasure of hosting our closing circle this morning here at Rythmia, which is a class that we hold on Saturday mornings, where we share a bit of information about how to transition when you leave here and head back to your new real life post-medicine. Right. But we also have an open sharing time for the guests, just to, feel a sense of completion. If there's anything they want to communicate to the group, it's the last chance for that, and it's really lovely. And this morning, Piper shared an incredibly touching and moving share with the group about her experience and how it was so interconnected with the group. And I thought it was just such a great example to share how your experience was supported by the medicine and also the energy of the group and certain individuals in there that carried messages that you needed to hear. Yeah. So we're going to talk a bit about that today.
Mm-hmm. And I think this journey was so extraordinary because when we come, we're talking about the integration, the trilogy, the bringing together of the three questions that we think we need answered. And somehow we have this belief system that we're going to linearly go through this process. And of course, I thought so as well. But I did have an awareness in my spirit before coming because of, I think, a lot of people that deal with trauma or go through grief or the loss of a parent, the loss of a loved one. I lost my children for a long period of time. I just lost my father. I was battling with PTSD, have a real successful career, but on the inside there was a part of me that was sort of continuously dying, always bowed over internally with doubt and mistrust and depression and other issues that were really plaguing. They were hiding behind the cosmetic of my smile. But I went fully in on the first day and went directly to heal my heart, which I didn't even ask the question. Aya went directly in to heal my heart, which let me know that maybe through some of my suffering, I had already gone through the process of purging. I didn't purge at all, but I purged for 20 years through tears and through writing. And as an artist, I think I'm always purging on paper, through therapy, through spiritual searching. And so I was healed. My heart was a surgery, the first thing that happened. My first time taking ayahuasca and meeting the mother and the grandmother was a major surgery. And one of the shaman women came over. She kneeled in front of me and her face transitioned. She has short blonde hair and her face transitioned from an innocent little child into a 300 or 400-year-old sage. Her hair grew into a long gray black braid, a huge eagle feather sticking out of it. And I was looking in her face and I recognized that she was the foundation of the earth, that she was the mother, she was our history, she was our ancestry, she was all fertility. and I felt safe. And then my hands became eagle feathers, but also surgical tools. So for 5 hours.
Same here at Rythmia.
Yeah. For 5 hours, I was having a surgery and then saging it away with the feathers.
Wow.
And a surgery and then saging and a pounding. And every time I would pound at my heart, and every time the feathers would pound at my heart and at my womb where my trauma was, the hands would then sage. And then I felt my heart go so fast, but it felt like ecstasy. Then it stopped. Then I elevated above my body, and I knew in that moment that I had died, but not in a sense of permanence. And I knew in that moment, I said, I've had a heart attack, but I understood what it was. I was cognizant of what it possibly was. I said, I think I've had a heart attack. What a wonderful heart attack. And then when I returned into my body, I was a caterpillar, and I could feel the colors and the mutations and the movement. And then my body started shaking, and it quivered into a chrysalis. Then from the chrysalis, it burst into a butterfly. And from the butterfly, with the little butterfly wings, it went back to patting my chest, and it was more heart surgery, and more heart surgery, and more heart surgery. And then from that place, I went back into another shell. I realized it was an eagle's shell. And then I died again. And then it cracked open in the wings. I had to learn how to flutter new wings, more heart surgery. And then the wings grew, and the wings grew, and they were expanded into these huge eagle wings. And at that moment, I heard my husband purging right behind me, but he was 3 rooms over. But he was the only person I could hear. And every time he would purge, my wings would do more heart surgery, but I knew we were unified as one in that moment. So I was like, we're healing both of our hearts. And then it was a purging, and then a clearing, more surgery. Then it was just massive eagle wings, and that was the end of that beautiful day. And from there on in, the next day and the next day, I was in the heavenly realm, or in the place I call it the sage, or the shaman, because it was a pass through so quickly. And the only thing I could see up there was the music or the sounds of their and that would make colors, and they would become beings, and then the shaman would come in, and it was the brightest white I'd ever seen. And I don't sing, but I was a part of this orchestration with all of the music and music of the angels and the shaman, and my giggle was the instrument. So it would come in rhythmically, and I think I was being restored to a place of innocence and an internal place of laughter. And I had really lost my ability to laugh from the center of my heart, because my laughter was really a cosmetic covering up so much pain. And losing my dad, translating into this eagle meant something to me, because the last day I was...
When did you lose your father?
Last year. And he was a warrior for peace. You know, he was in Congress representing Berkeley, California, since 1970, and wrote the Comprehensive Sanctions Act that ended apartheid, and brought Mandela home. A warrior, just a warrior. And he was my tree, and I sat there and just really ate of the seed of his wisdom. But because I could sit under that fertility, I didn't have to be a tree of my own. I just allowed myself to bask, and that's how I dealt with all of my trauma and all of my depression and fear. Lost my children. They were taken off of their preschool playground when they were 3 and 5.
And kidnapped.
And they were returned 8 years later, and that's a story in and of itself. So when I came here, I came thinking, will I ever get beyond the deep pain of having lost my daughters for that long, and the suicidal tendencies, and the severe depression. But I was a workaholic, so there was success on one end, but a real shattering of soul on the other, and I just couldn't heal. So my father was always the tool. And when he left the earth, I took care of him for the last month, because it was a lot of cancer in his body. And it was this brilliant honor, to bathe and wash. But what I remember mostly is not wanting to forget his face and his smell, so I would kiss his lips like 1,000,000 times, over and over and over and over, and touch his face, but kiss his lips and kiss his lips. And so before he left, I asked him, Dad, please, can you come back to see me, and how will I know it's you? And I remember him sort of closing his eyes in a meditative way and coming back to me, and he said, I'll come as a dog, and I'll kiss you on the lips. So it's been a year and my dad never came. So I came to Rythmia, and on this last final day, I was up at the fire, the Father's fire, and they said, cast into the fire the things that no longer serve you or that you no longer want. And being someone that had lost the will to live so long ago, though I continue to live, I knew that there was a part of me that wanted to go and be with my father. And even to the moment I landed in Costa Rica, there was a part of me that said, I really don't want to be here without him. And I don't want to be here with this void in my soul that I birthed children but didn't get to raise them. And I thought, this wound is too deep, this pain is too deep. And I didn't think that this medicine or anything could ever be a salve for that. And then you have all of the other wounds that you have growing up through life, walking through the world as an ethnic woman, as a woman. So the wounds of all women, if it's sexual assault, other abuses that have happened to us as women, I was bleeding out in those areas. You know, being a woman of color, you're so used to being self-protective and being labeled and feeling insecure walking into certain spaces, even if you're the top of your class or have more degrees than a thermometer or jobs that pay 6 or 7 figures. There's still this insecurity when you're walking into a breath of a society that's been readjusted by this new administration, you know, where people are now feeling bold and courageous to throw things at you or spit at you or make it really clear with their mouths and with their actions how they feel about the way God birthed you into the world. So it's a lot of weight to carry, a lot of burden on the spirit, especially for someone that had been broken by trauma. So with all of those weights, there was a part of me that thought I'd rather be the clipped balloon. So I threw my ego into that fire. And I remember saying, Father, fire, take my ego, forgetting that that's take myself. And yet I think there was a voice inside of me that went, that's good, you know, because this is your first step towards being able to leave this place. And then I walked into the line to take the medicine and I fainted. And I felt all the life rush out of me. It was, and I pulled myself back up, and there was a light worker behind me, another one of the visitors. And he helped me up without touching me. He had his hands behind, and I felt something supporting me, and I came off the ground. And I was woozy, but I felt someone was supporting my back, holding me up. So I turned around, and he was a whole person's pace behind me with his eyes closed like this. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. You know, he's supporting me in the spirit. This is more than a family. We're connected. I feel you. And when I went up finally and I took the medicine, the shamans looked into my eyes and he said, God bless you. And I said, God bless you too. And as I was walking back to my bed, something said, God bless me. I said it out loud over myself, which I've never spoken over myself. But I immediately asked Aya, take me with you. That's all I've ever asked of her. Yeah. Take me with you. I wanted to see my father. And I knew she lived in the heavenly realm. And within seconds, through lights and colors and transitions and giggles, I was back in the place of the shaman. And you're transitioning through so many reflections of white that you have to get spirit eyes in order to see, because it's so bright. It's all of the music, it's inexplicable, and the energy and the whispers and the giggles, and it was stunning. And then I saw the white eagle, and I knew it was my father. He had silver hair, very all white, and I knew it was my father. And I had been reborn as an eagle during my second death after my heart surgery, so I could soar behind him. And I thought, oh my gosh, so now we're in this ascended place where we can look at the world in a different way. But I felt my heart, I felt this safety and this comfort, and I knew that he was okay, that he was better than okay. So I wanted to soar behind him, and he was going higher and higher and higher. And I felt that the feeling of, I want to leave now. I can leave now. I'm with him. This is all I wanted. So as I was soaring and following behind him, I knew that I was rocketing so quickly that my spirit and soul were leaving my body. And if I had willed it, I would have left my body permanently. And I think my heart always wanted that. So I just kept going. And I felt my soul and spirit leaving almost to my tippy toes, like I was on my tippy toes in my flesh, And then something hit my chest really gently on my heart and said, God bless you. And my body went back into my body. And it was another one of our family members.
Another guest. And
he was laying next to me, a young Australian man. And he just popped up, hit my chest, said, God bless you, pulled me back into my body, and then passed out on the ground. and
so crazy.
Yeah, and he had the blonde beard. It was funny, before he cut his hair, when I looked down, I said, Yeshua. I thought he was Jesus, you know. And later, of course, I said, why did you do that? I said, you saved my life. You pulled me back into my body. And he said, your giggles were so beautiful. He said, you were giggling like a song for hours. And it made my heart so happy that I woke up just to say, God bless you for that laughter. And I thought, isn't that funny? Because your God bless you pulled me back into the world where I wanted to be. So now I'm back in my body, and I've been in that heavenly realm. And I turned around and I saw one of our guests, our visitor, a speaker's wife, and she is Indian, and a beautiful dark. Her skin is like, she's stunning, and her eyes look like the movement of water, heaven and earth. But she's very regal. She looks like the princess queen of ascended angels. And I don't know how to explain that.
Very true.
But that's what she is, and she's elegant.
Carries herself.
And she's this big. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's this tiny, and she is the most powerful, miraculous queen I've ever seen. And she looked into my eyes, I looked into hers, and she spoke to every generation of wounds, of ancestral wounds, to the Native American part of my bloodline, to the African part of my bloodline. She spoke to every ethnic woman, every healing and woundedness that needed healing, generations. You see her and she heals it all. She reminds you who you are. Mm-hmm. And Mother Aya has you reminded, look, this is who you truly are. And you can hear her saying it in your spirit, and it's like, whoa, this is extraordinary, this is beautiful. So I looked up into the clouds after that, and she was a pregnant woman, taking over the whole heavens, and her legs spread wide open, and white birds came flying out from between her legs, and white butterflies from her mouth. And then the birds enveloped her, and as they enveloped her, this was like a big white mountain. And then out from between her legs, she bore down as a pregnant woman. And I'm dealing with the loss of my children, so her pregnancy meant something to me. It meant, I was saying, why did I birth? Where's the fertility? Why was that taken, the youth? But when she bore down, mountains, rivers, lakes, birds, buffalo, everything flew out, galaxies. And then all of the shaman dancing out from between her legs. And it was the most amazing thing. And I realized that all I wanted and all I requested, my intention for my third drink was, the only intention I had was I want to fall more madly in love with the Creator, and I want to fall more madly in love with the creation. And I want that love to be like seed in the palm of my hands that I can sow into my children and into the world until I take my last breath on earth, whether that's today or tomorrow. But I just want to fall so in love, not recognizing that I was part of the Creator, that I had to fall in love with me as Creator and creation. But when Mother Aya was pushing back, she was pushing me as well. So I said, I want to fall in love with you, and she was saying, but you're part of me. You're the earth, you're all of it. So when I finally came back into my body, feeling for the first time in my life, breathing in life, the breath of life, loving life. And I think the first breath of life came through you, during the first breathing class, when you allowed me to breathe myself into a heavenly place and reacquaint with my Father for the first time, and reacquaint with my children. It was learning about that breath and hearing your story and watching your spirit, this evolution, this bursting of beauty and spirit and life, and You were like a cherub of joy. And I was like, I mean, it's funny how you were the first people, and then you had a baby that was a miracle. I know she has another name, but to me, I call her Miracle.
Miracle Kobe.
She's amazing. So now I'm laying down, and I'm back in my body, and I'm looking around at the shaman who danced with me in the heavenlies, who danced out of her legs, at this beautiful, regal, majestic angel who spoke into generations of insecurity and generations of wounds, to the young man who acted as a hand of salvation to pull me back to a desire to live. Even the fire. So when I woke up, I remember thinking I was in every form of galaxy, the galaxy of her fertility and the galaxy of the heavens. And I knew that my father, that everything was going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And I was a little bowed over, and then my dad was suddenly there in front of me. Mm-hmm. And he said, stand up, stand straight, put your shoulders back, lift your head up, you know. And he gave me back that sense of self, and he said, you'll never be bowed over again. So I'm looking up to say, like, I love you and thank you. And I start hearing the wolves crying out in the wilderness. They were howling. And the little dog Galaxy was out there barking at the wolves.
The real dog that we have here at Rythmia, on this planet, in this plane of existence.
Yes,
the little black dog.
The little black dog. And I lived in Africa for a long time. And I had a white wolf. And so wolves are sort of my spirit animal. And I heard the wolves, and I heard Galaxy barking. And I started whispering, Galaxy, Galaxy, Galaxy. As I said that, I don't know how she went from way out there in the fields, racing through the door. She comes up to my bed, faces me, kisses me on the lips, not with the tongue like a person, and then runs off. And then I heard my father's voice. I said I would come to you as a dog, and I would kiss you on the lips. And I waited in 1 year, and he came.
And he came. Wow.
And I have I can't say I've never wanted to live more. I am so alive that it's impossible not to live more. This has been the most extraordinary experience of my life, because it gave me back the breath of life, and it gave me back a love of life, and it gave me back connectivity to life, and it gave me hope, the instrumentation of my soul, my marriage.
And you and your husband had a great experience also.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Incredible.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And spoken as a true storyteller. Wow.
Wow, and I know
I've already heard it, and I'm on the edge of my seat.
I'm sorry, I was jumbling over my words.
No,
it's just, you don't know how to process a miracle.
No.
And you don't know how to voice.
To put it into words is
a miracle. Yeah. And because it's way more than what I'm voicing. It's the
feeling that goes with all of those words.
And I don't want it to seem like, oh, it's like a drug trip. It's not that. It's like standing in the center of a novel and an orchestra and a painting and your heart while you're in childbirth and making love.
And remembering.
At the same time. And then remembering.
Yeah.
And remembering at the same time. It's like opening up the windows and cabinets of that innocence, that child innocence. When we once had that, we would open up Dr. Seuss worlds, and we would have these worlds and believe them. We were like the Babalu Bears, the Lorax, you know? It was all there, but life.
We lose that innocence.
Yeah, and life.
Willingness to trust and 100%. So, I mean, if you watch our Facebook Lives here, you know that we really focus on 3 intentions. To show me who I become, merge me back with my soul at all costs, and heal my heart. Right. And you did, like, the fast track, you know, like, if you got your heart healed, like, you... Day one, you've been through the process, and then Mother Ayahuasca needed to just then, like, just give you everything you needed.
She wanted to heal the grief, too.
And to do all the healing that you would need to be back into...
It's like, you want to know where he didn't die? There's no death. Exactly. He was like, you know what, I'm just going to take you. You said you want me to take you with me? Okay, well, your dad's there. So once I take you there, will you stop crying and wanting him back in this earth with a body riddled with cancer. Do you want to see him soaring with the shaman? So, I mean, once you get there, you're like, oh, how selfish of me. Stay where you are.
You stay there.
That's amazing.
I'll finish out my time, and then we'll see you soon.
Or I'll do breath work and find my way back to you.
This is it. And this is the beauty.
I can meditate and get back to you.
100%. And Jerry will always be the first person to say, like, this is the fast track. Plant medicine gets you to this place of remembering the same way that meditation can, that breath work can, like super meditation. Like, there's tons of different ways that you can do this. But medicine brings you there faster. Yeah. And it can save a lot of time and pain. I mean, it's not easy. Yeah. It can be very, very hard and very, very painful. And
I would
needs
say,
a lot of integration, but it is.
My left knee, I had arthritis in my left knee, and I played tennis 2 hours a day. My knee is perfect. This knee was double the size. My husband's like, what happened to your knee? And I was like, I don't even know. I just noticed it this morning. I'm running, I'm doing stuff, and I was like, why is my knee amazing? And then I was like, Mama, did you also do my knee?
And the question should not be,
even tell me.
Why is my knee amazing? It should be, my knee is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is the normal state of your knee, is that it is
amazing. That's right.
And that is a miracle.
Yeah.
Because everything is a miracle. Either everything is a miracle or nothing is.
But imagine having surgeries and I don't even realize you had one.
Yeah.
Until someone just riding a horse. Yeah. Suddenly my husband's like, your knee looks amazing. And I was like, oh, Mother Ayahuasca. Yeah, she healed my knee too.
Hashtag normal.
Yeah, normal. And they kept saying, oh, you have to replace your knee, in the real world.
Yeah.
So really, in the other world. So what really this was is like, I thought if I stayed in therapy, stayed on antidepressants, if I had literally an open heart surgery, drank about 1,000 cases more wine, had a knee replacement, maybe worked a little bit more so I could make more money so I could hide behind more expensive things and then work a little harder and get a bigger house to hide in. If I did all of those things until the day I died, it wouldn't have matched the first 10 minutes of take me with you.
Wow.
That's how, because you're in the center of love, of life, of God. You're the heartbeat of God. You're in the middle. All the faces of God are manifesting.
And you are that.
And everyone around you. Incredible. Sorry, I know. I can't even talk about it anymore because I can't stop talking about it.
Well, and I feel like, we've done an amazing job today. There was a lot of people writing comments here. We'll say a little hello to everyone. But
I've never seen a live thing.
This is what happens here. This is a normal week at Rythmia. The depth of healing that happens every week is, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And at the same time, completely natural.
That's right.
And the way that it should be.
Sure.
We should all be able to reconnect and access this level of joy and truth and love.
Without pharmaceutical toxicity that's destroying your liver, kidney, lungs. And I just want to say a shout out to Meg. First of all, I know that we're talking about the plant medicine, all of this. It's the entire Rythmia. You have to understand. She is a chef of life. She provides and cooks the most amazing living foods, the most incredible food you've ever eaten. And so you're feeling life. Mother Aya's giving you life. They're feeding us life. And then we're bathing in living muds. And then we're bathing in living waters. Everything here is providing life.
Yes.
You can have stem cell injection here. I love this. Everything supports life.
And it's all the practices that we have here, the food, the teaching,
yoga,
the breathwork, the yoga. It's all ways that we can help all of our guests heal themselves.
Sure.
Because really, at the end of the day, that's what this is.
Sure.
The ayahuasca is bringing us back to ourselves.
Sure.
She's reminding us of what we already deep down knew.
Right.
The food is helping our body regenerate.
The
stem
community
cells are coaxing your cells to reproduce and heal your body.
Right.
The community, all of this stuff is what,
to learn to love one another as self, the community, the water, the
everything.
It's almost
it's
so amazing.
Too much.
But when people were leaving, we're all crying. Yeah. I was looking out my window. It was 6 a.m. I'm in pajamas. My hair's out to here. I've been in plant medicine for 5 days, going wow. Doing that. I've been in a wow. And then I see the young man who came up and saved me, pulling his suitcase. And I just started crying. And I opened up my door and was like, oh, don't leave. And he starts crying and I start crying. He's like, I don't leave for a few hours. But
the connection.
Yeah. It's family. It's a heart connection.
Well, and we talk about this. I do an orientation class at the beginning of the week, welcoming all the guests. And, it's funny, at the beginning of the week, you guys were all like, who are these weirdos sitting with me, right? But by the end of the week, everyone's
we're like, I love you, weirdo!
Because you go through this massive life-changing week together, and you are, the energy of the group, it's very clear that each group is specific, and that you are meant to be here together to do this healing together, and no other combination of souls would have worked.
We were each other's midwives.
Yeah.
We went through birth, death, resurrection, and ascension together. So we're like soul and spiritual midwives. You never forget that.
Yeah. And I know people that have been here since the very beginning when we opened that are still in deep contact, that come back together. Like, there's just such community.
Sure.
Community. So I'm going to just say hello to some people. We've got Melina saying hello. Amazing story. Sarah saying she's never been. What do you guys think of talking about the plant itself as if it is a person? Yeah, I mean, we talk about Mother Ayahuasca as, we speak to her about, anyone can speak about Mother Ayahuasca, however they experience Mother Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Because she comes to us all in different forms.
Yeah.
I've never seen her in my ceremonies. Other people have very clear, defined visions of her. She comes to me as a feeling, and as aliens.
Right.
Other people, they see a very distinct mother.
Right. And I had a fear. I mean, a lot of us are coming in and through our own spiritual practices, and with a warm embrace. But I came as a Christian. But not as religious Christians. Oftentimes the indoctrination, I came with relationship, I should say, not religion, but relationship. But I've always wanted to understand the Christ, the Christ teachings as an organism and stray away from the organization. Yeah. So when I was saying, oh, mother, what is that, mother? And I was immediately led to a scripture I learned as a child. God said, I made man in my image, male and female made I him. So I was like, oh, God, you're male and female. Well, I've been sitting around in this little patriarchal world only talking to Father God. And then I thought, well, as a mom, that's a bummer, because if God is both, and he says I'm male and female, and you're in my image, I thought, we've ignored the mother, but we've been ignoring the mother in the earth. Anyway, this is why we're raping the earth and toxifying the oceans, and how we treat women and children, and the actual earth embodiment of mother is a real reflection on the fact that we're disallowed to honor her also as God. Yeah. So I call her that because she is our mother. She nourishes. She does what a natural mother does. Yeah. She feeds me. She bathes me. She cleanses me. Yeah. She nourishes me. She holds me. And she protects me.
The specifics of ayahuasca is that it is a very feminine medicine.
Yeah.
There are other plant medicines out there that are more masculine.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is it's the yin and the yang. It's the male.
And she feels like a mom.
And it's a very mothering energy.
Yeah.
But everyone will. I'm looking at this camera when I should be looking at this camera.
Oh, I don't even. I'm just looking at you. I'm just looking at Meg.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so look at all these people.
Wow.
Bimpe and Melina and Dela. I'm just going to say hello. Danielle is saying, wow, amazing. She's beautiful experience. You're telling, you're very descriptive. You're a wonderful storyteller. Claudia's watching. Danielle, oh my goodness, so good. We're going to take some time to answer all of these amazing comments afterwards. Naomi, holy smokes. Wow. Okay. But I think we have done an amazing job. You shared an amazing story when Piper shared this morning in our closing circle. It touched everyone. I think there wasn't a dry eye in the room because everyone can so relate. And this is why it's so important that we do these shares, not only in our closing group every week, but on this Facebook Live, because when you share your experience and your learning, it can touch so many other people's hearts and make more clear maybe some confusion that they may have had about a vision or what they're experiencing. And we listen with our hearts as well as with our ears. So hopefully getting the story out here, if you have had any sort of trauma in the past, or you have, any question about what is out there in the other realms, this would be a great opportunity for our viewers to listen and learn. And it doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to be about it's not about life and death. It's not about religion or non-religion.
Nothing.
It's about connection and love and experiencing whatever it is you need to experience to love yourself more.
Right.
So that you can love others more, so that we can all love each
Absolutely,
other
absolutely.
more fully.
And healing down on a cellular level.
Yeah.
You know, if nothing else, for all of the scientists out there, you know, and I'm also a scientist, as a biochemist, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a writer, and I'm a very serious person as well, you know. So this isn't like where the flaky dakies come. This people are searching for truth, and we know that we're in a universe that is nothing more than, energy and atomic matter. So we're going down and speaking into the mitochondria, into the cell, into the actual atomic matter of our being, and reorganizing, but also rewriting the script, because things are literally written on your mitochondria. We get to rewrite these things. You know, we get to rewrite the victimization. I came here and my entire identity was victim. It served me well for 54 years. That way I could say, I'm in pain because I was sexually abused by that one hurt me, this one left me, this one stole from me. And I could put myself in this, them versus me, innocent me. The reality of that big great lie was, it lacks compassion, it lacks truth, it lacks your ability to take full responsibility for your life. You sow the seeds into the destiny of your own life. I created my own Eden, and I create my own hell. Yeah. But we don't tell ourselves that because we never want to look in the mirror. And I remember Maya Angelou once saying, you have to examine your life, because an unexamined life is not worth living. So it's easy for us to post those things and have the poster, but have you truly really examined your life? An examination is something that goes deep down, and when you go for an examination, they're testing blood, they're testing platelets, they're really going in. And but you have to find yourself first. You have to know yourself first. You come here, the first stage of that trinity of development is, who are you? Yeah. Who have you become? And everyone, it will come with a different identity, because we've painted on an identity. Yeah. Well, I've been victimized, we'll tell all the things, here are my degrees here. I guess maybe every now and again I'm a little selfish, but we have all these. Yeah. But this journey of truth and a natural healing plant, thank you God for growing it, that takes the blinders off of our eyes and the lies. An actual growing plant that says stop lying to yourself is an extraordinary plant. You can pay $250 to a therapist who will sit there and after 5 years go, are you sure that's the truth? Or you can say, wow, God, you grew that and you grew that, and we put in combination, and God says, stop lying to yourself. In 4 hours, it's like, I can't lie to you, God. And there is something about the trembling knees of facing who you are. Go away in this environment, because all of us had to face the truth of who we are. Only the truth is going to set you free. You can pretend all day. There is no such thing as a victim. No.
We make that up. There's so much that we make up.
And we lack compassion. If I point at you and you did that to me, then we're not even investigating what happened to you. Yeah. Here we get to investigate that one to another. Exactly. So that we can go, oh, I love you, I understand that. And as they're wiping away those things, like I think you said it, hurt people hurt people. Yeah. And I said it another way, broken people cut. Yeah. But we leave here, we come here bleeding and wounded, and we're also knife wielders. We've been cutting people all of our lives. And cutting ourselves.
And then we can come here.
We're leaving 5 days later, and it's like, I love you.
You come here and rest and love.
And you heal. Even your wounds heal. Yes. Even ancient wounds.
Ancient
so
wounds.
Grateful that I did this.
I'm so grateful that you
Oh my
did.
gosh.
And I'm so grateful you came out here this afternoon and rushed down here to do this amazing share.
Oh, I was on a horse.
She was on a horse.
That's why I looked so dirty and gross.
I got off a horse, got a pineapple juice, and I brought her.
I was on a horse on the beach.
She was on a horse on the beach. The typical amazing Costa Rica experience. So not only do we do ayahuasca, but you can do all the beautiful Costa Rica things here.
Thank you guys.
And enjoy the Pura Vida. So thank you guys for watching. We've gone 42 minutes. We did great. We said we wanted.
Wonderful.
We wanted to keep it under an hour.
If you're even thinking about it, don't think about it.
No. Just do it.
Don't think about it.
Just call the number.
The greatest 7 days of your life. I can't even,
The hardest, most beautiful week ever.
Ever. It's stunning. I don't think it was that hard compared to the other world.
Yeah.
I think it's hard not being real.
Yeah.
It's hard
so
being
much
depressed.
easier
It's hard
when you
being
can-
drunk.
Yeah,
For me, that was hard.
it is hard.
The lying to myself and stuffing pain was hard.
Being in the internal now,
Being
like a
free
baby.
is pretty freaking awesome.
I
You know
love
what it's
it.
hard like? If you're a mom, you'll get it. Remember labor?
No, I've blocked it out.
Yeah. Right, well,
I'm just
but
kidding.
you're pregnant, you're like, this is awesome. First you make love and you're like, yay, that's what we got here. We're making love. We're like, yay. Then we're pregnant, we're like, oh, a little uncomfortable.
So fun.
You know, but okay. Like my belly's kind of cute, but then you're like, I'm waddling a bit. That happened here. So it's
Week 39,
uncomfortable.
yeah.
Then you're in labor and you're like, holy cannoli. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, this hurts, but it's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And then you bear down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you push out the
Life.
most beautiful thing in the world, your freedom and love and life. So it's not hard like the world. It's not like a toothache hard. It's like labor hard.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't feel the pain of creating new life, of recreating God, then what's the point of being here? Labor has to hurt,
Mm-hmm.
but it hurts so good.
It hurts so good.
Oh man, dude, I'm freaking out right now. I'm so
Oh,
happy. I gotta get off your face.
We're gonna let her go.
Bye.
Enjoy the afternoon.
Bye.
Thank you. Mwah. I
Bye. Love
so
you guys.
much. We are off next week, you guys, because we have no guests. Jerry's giving us a little bit of a break for Christmas, so we will not have a Rythmia live on Saturday. Piper, again, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please share this with anyone that you think could use a little inspiration if they might be on the fence about Rythmia or curious about what we have to offer here. Tune in again in 2 weeks' time, and I will be live next Sunday on my regular Facebook Live time. Tomorrow I'm taking the day off to travel home to Canada. Love you guys. Have a beautiful holidays. Ciao.